As a producer or an engineer or all of the above, it's hard enough to find the right artists to work with, to find artists that are willing to pay you for your time and your talents. But what about those picky rappers and singers and songwriters that just don't like your mix or don't like your beat, even though you know you did a great job? You ever get that where you make a beat for an artist and they say there's something missing or it just doesn't feel right? Or you mix a song for an artist and they say something like you took the soul out of the mix, something like that. Let's talk about why that is, so you can stop getting frustrated by working with these artists and you can stop pissing these artists off, even though on your end you think you're doing a great job. It comes down to a terrible condition that afflicts a lot of recording artists in the music business, and we may have some solutions for it. Let's talk about this very serious problem.
I don't know if
I'll read it. It says, why do I always get angry when I'm writing notes to my engineer on the mix and masters they gave me? Like, stop taking all the feeling out of it. I like it more raw and just all the changes. Listeners have no idea what us artists go through for the whole song to be what we want it to be, down to the mix and master. And this reminds me actually a lot of this clip with Mary J. Blige. Did you ever see this, Dame?
I don't think so.
There's some trickery going on in here, and I don't like listening to what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
I know what I'm hearing, and I'm not trying to.
That's why I was trying to tell you.
I'm not trying to.
I'm just telling you to listen. Just listen.
Any kind of trouble because I'm a grown up. I'm not a child.
I'm just telling you, listen to the thing. Why is it you getting so crazy? It's a mix. We're mixing the record.
Wait a minute. I'm not going crazy. I'm just saying. I know I want to be treated fairly here. With everything.
That's why we're gonna A/B it right now. We don't know which. We're not finished the mix. We're asking you to give your input.
I'm giving my input, and y'all looking at me like I'm nuts.
Probably triggering to a lot of engineers and producers.
That might be good feedback to an engineer, but I wouldn't know what to do with that. Like, you took the feeling out of it. Like, I need specific, like what, like your feeling, what you feel from a song is probably different from what I feel from a song. So I need specific sounds and volumes and like direction of what you feel was missed. Like,
yeah, because when the poster Sunshine Portal, when she said listeners have no idea what us artists go through, I'm like, you have no idea what producers and engineers go through, because you can't explain using actual tangible terms what's wrong with the mix or what's wrong with the beat. And I go through this all the time with artists where, you know, a lot of artists will reach out and ask me to make a new beat for a song because, you know, the first beat is too old or the first beat has an uncleared sample in it or, you know, something. So then they'll send it to me and I'll make something that to me sounds better than the original. And they're like, nah, just something's missing. What's missing? I don't know, just the feeling. And they'll use words like, you know, I need the soul back in, or I need the emotion back in. And it's like, the problem is emotion is deceptive. Because think about human emotions. How many times are our emotions wrong? How many times do we feel a certain way about a situation and then we come to find out that the way we felt was incorrect all the damn time? And that's how music is. So like with nostalgia, when we were talking about the video of the gentleman saying trap beats are too easy to make or blah, 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 we can look at him and be like, no, that's not right. But age and generation, all of that comes with a certain nostalgia for certain sounds. And so, and they've done studies on this. I want to bring this up in a podcast. I got to find the study. People, as they age, they start disliking new music, and it's not because the new music is bad. They would have liked it if they were younger. They don't like it because of their nostalgic connection, which is an emotional connection to the music of their era, and they prefer that. Their brains are. I'm not explaining it well because I'm not a neurologist or whatever the field of study is, but I feel like that's what happens with artists in the sense that they end up so this is why they call it demoitis. And I don't know what the solution is to this. Artists, and this happens to me all the time too with mixing, that's why I don't like doing it. Artists will send me a rough mix, a raw mix, no effects, nothing. Vocals don't sound great. They sound buried in the mix. They sound muffled. because raw unprocessed vocals, that's how they sound. So then I brighten them, I glue everything together, I send it back. They're like, yeah, it's missing the soul. It's because you are, the whole time I'm mixing, from the time that you recorded that raw version, what have you been doing? You've been listening to it in the house. You've been listening to it in the headphones. You've been listening to it in the car. So when I finally send you the mixed and mastered version, which one do you have the biggest connection to? Which one has imprinted itself onto you? The rough version, the unmixed version. And you're so excited about that, and suddenly something else comes along. It'd be like you walk into your house and all of your furniture has been upgraded to the best, most current, modern, Swedish design. And, it's $50,000 worth of new furniture compared to the old shit that has just been falling apart. The leather's peeling. And you're like, I don't like this. It might take you a year to live in that house until you realize, actually, no, I do like this better. But it was the shock of seeing something new that's objectively better, or certainly not objectively worse, certainly objectively better engineered. And people just can't handle it. The craziest shit that happened to me is actually when I was managing an artist, he would record all the time. He would record himself. And there was this one song, and it was a ballad, and I produced it. I love this song. It had a bridge and everything, and it was big. It was a ballad, and I took the raw vocals. I'm like, we got to do something special with this. So I sent it to a world-class engineer. Like this guy was, he was a great engineer from experience, but he also had degrees in engineering. He was also a professor at that time teaching engineering. And he sends it back, and I'm like, oh my God, this sounds amazing. The artist hated it. He was like, my vocals sound too clear. Why are they so upfront? I'm like, because it's a ballad. What are you talking about? They sound clear. They're supposed to sound clear. Do you know what kind of music we're making? This is a pop ballad. The vocals need to be clear upfront. All that bass, they don't need to be muddy, because we want to give the listener this sense of intimacy. Your voice has to be right up there. It has to be soft, that little reverb tail. Like to me, I could sit there and explain why technically this stuff needed to happen, why emotionally this was a better mix. But he, for the last 2 weeks, had been listening to his version, and he was emotionally connected to it because not only did he record it himself, but he listened to the raw mix over and over and over and over again. So I don't know what the solution is. I guess the one thing, you can't really do this if you're working remotely with an artist, but if you're in the studio with them, I guess just like mix it on the spot, or don't let them take home a rough version, or have your vocal chains on every audio track at all times. So when they listen to the final mix, it's not a stark difference from the unprocessed vocals. But also I feel like, artists who track themselves should also have vocal chains. Like, track yourself, but have, and I know a lot of engineers who do this. If they're working closely with an artist, they'll give them a vocal chain, or they'll just say, oh, give me your laptop quick, the one that you record at home on. I'm just going to make you a vocal chain.
What's a vocal chain?
My bad. So a vocal chain is just a preset sequence of effects that you put on your vocal channels. And so once you apply that, it'll just be there as a template. And so when someone records, they just throw that chain on, and it'll be one that they like, that they decided that they like. But then their vocals will be processed. They won't be raw. And because the engineer advised them on this vocal chain, once they actually get the final mix back from the engineer, it won't sound, night and day. It'll sound pretty similar. So I think that is one solution, because going from completely unmixed, raw, unprocessed to polished and mastered, that's a wide gap. But going from pre-mix with the vocal chain and all that to the final mix, it's a much smaller window. So that could be a solution if it's something that you're able to actually do with the artist.
Yeah. I mean, I know that, there are a lot of unmixed or terribly mixed songs that do well.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while, the success might be attributed to the roughness of the song. Like a lot of times we'll never know like why. Like even if an unmixed song goes platinum, like we don't know what would have happened if it was mixed professionally because we can't test those two timelines. So it's tough, but there are certain platforms where unmixed stuff is not going to fly, right? Like if, maybe in sync placement, maybe on radio, like, so again, the Music Entrepreneur Club is all about giving you all of the information and then you deciding what you want to do, right? I just hope for individual songs and individual art, like I think it's best not to make these decisions on your own. Like you have people around you that are experienced in their lane. You take their feedback and hopefully you apply their feedback to produce the best product possible. But it's tough to give feedback to, like, even like when I was reading that thread or you were reading that thread, I was like comparing it to how I'm giving feedback to graphic designers that I work with, right? A lot of times I don't really know exactly what to change. I just know what I like and don't like. But I'm very honest with that up front. Like I know that I'm about to be frustrating to them, right? Like because I don't know specifically what to change. It's probably something simple. It's probably some shade or some bolding effect or something that would turn it from something that I don't like to something that I like. But it's hard sometimes to give very specific feedback. But if that is the case, acknowledge it. I'm acknowledging and I'm giving you the time, and I might even pay you more because I'm frustrated because I know that I'm not being specific and I know that you're going to have to take more time to get this right.
Yeah, but okay. So there are ways around that too. When people are working remotely, that's when things get really ugly because you're not in the same space. There are time gaps and you're not communicating directly. So that makes the situation a lot more frustrating, but that's why having references helps. Mm-hmm. But again, it comes down to, right, like I'm going to give you a pass working with a graphic designer because you don't work with a graphic designer every day. You work with a graphic designer for specific projects. I'm not giving producers, engineers, singers, songwriters, rappers, I'm not giving them a pass on this because their career depends on this type of communication. You got to work with a producer and an engineer every time unless you're doing it all yourself. So you should learn the terminology. Don't be 10 years in the game talking about, I've been doing this for 10 years and you don't know what brightness means, or you don't know what a reverb tail is, or you don't know what delay, you know what I mean? So when you're communicating with an engineer, like, why does it sound like it's woo woo? What the fuck does that mean? You are a grown adult. You just learn the goddamn terms from your career field. It'd be like, so you're a fucking engineer at NASA and you're talking about what is cosine? Get the fuck out of here. They should fire you, but you can't fire a rapper for being like this. So I'm getting annoyed because I'm thinking of the situations where I'm just like, why are you like this? I guess that's the thing about music that's frustrating. It's full of people who claim to love music, but they don't love it enough to try very hard. So
they're doing what they want to do. No, you are right. I would say two things. One, you're right. They should learn how to speak with the engineers, with the producers on their music. But two, I think this also lends to why you should lock in with somebody long term, because they'll learn, even if you're not using the right terms, they'll learn what you like. It'll be a lot less back and forth on the 10th song that you do together, as opposed to using 10 different engineers. And now you kind of have to reset the communication. Some might be better than others, but if you lock in with somebody, that just gets a lot better over time, less back and forth, put out more music, hopefully better music. So lock in with your team. That's what I would suggest.